Are you focused on the problem or the solution? Do you continually think about the things that worry you, that you fear, that you don't want? Or are you thinking about things that you do want? Oftentimes it's easier the bridge over to the new way, to the healing, to the new situation, to the freedom is something new to pull us forward. For example, if you've ever been in a relationship and you broke up with somebody, they call it the rebound, but it's easier for some reason if there's somebody new to forget the somebody old. It just makes it easier. Why is that? It's because we are no longer focused on the old, we're focused on something new, regardless if it's going to last or not. So that is just proof that I'm sure you've experienced firsthand that by dwelling or not giving yourself to look something forward to, you are by default just ruminating and sitting in the past. It's very hard. It takes a strong person, and people do it, right? As the older you get, to not have to have somebody new or something new. But really, forget about somebody new, something new. That's why goals are so important, to be future focused, to have something to pull you into the future. Because if not, we're just sitting and then we start just dying and decomposing emotionally, energetically. Because the truth is, we are always growing. We are either growing or we're dying. There's no middle ground. Think about plants in your house. Think about the plants outside. They're all alive. We are all alive. Right now, as you listen to this, you're alive. But you're either growing into a bigger, better version of you, pushing, pressing, learning something new, expanding, getting uncomfortable, because that's the growth process, or you are sitting in your comfort zone, not changing a thing, not moving, staying stagnant and dying and falling back. Those are the two options. Which one are you doing? And they feel very, very different. For me, most of the time, I felt like I was stagnant, stuck, dying, suffocating, not like fully expressed. So I want you to really pay attention to how you feel. Do you feel like you're growing, expanding, excited, a little uncomfortable, which is the growth process? Or do you feel stagnant, stuck, stale, kind of like you're imploding and you have all this energy and you don't know what to do with it? It's because you need to put it into something and go for it. We are continuing the reading of Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, The Miracles of Your Mind. And we just continued yesterday on what are we focused on? He used the example yesterday of the gentleman with the headaches, the migraines. He kept experiencing these migraines, and of course, migraines don't last forever. So he could have changed his experience with the migraines. So for example, it's not particularly the circumstance. We focus a lot on the circumstance. Well, I don't want this to be here. How is this okay? Well, I guess this is just what I deserve. It's our thoughts about the circumstance that will dictate our experience of life, that circumstance or any circumstance. So regardless of what circumstances are in your life, whether you attracted them, if someone else attracted them, that's when we get into trouble because we can't wrap our brain around it. We get mad. We can't accept it. We can't follow it. Well, this is an easy solution. Forget about how the circumstances came into your life. How are you thinking about those circumstances? For example, when I was driving home one time for my niece's birthday party, I got a flat tire. And I was thinking, oh man, did I attract this? This is bad luck. I'm going to be late. I have to pay for a new tire. That was one route I could have gone down. But thank goodness with this study, I said, this is good. This is good. I don't know why this happened. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take a moment to take a breather. I waited. I was so grateful I had AAA. I sat there and I did some work on my phone while I waited. I really engaged and enjoyed when the AAA guy came. We had some laughs. I got a snack from the gas station that was there. It was just a moment to reflect. So the thoughts and the way that I perceived it, instead of a big problem, oh my gosh, this is like a sign, an omen that I'm on the wrong path, I got a flat tire, I thought about it completely differently. This is a moment to pause and to reflect and to relax and to just quiet for a little bit. So it wasn't the circumstance. The flat tire was a circumstance, but I could go two ways with it. This is terrible. This is awful. Or this is good. This is a moment for me to reflect. One makes me feel one way, the other makes me feel another way. So I hope that that point came across of it doesn't matter what your circumstances are right now. It's how you're thinking of them. And how you're thinking of them will dictate the way you feel. And how you feel will dictate what more circumstances come. Again, for example, if I did go down the route of this is just crap, I can't believe this happened, I would have been in a funky mood. Then I would have probably been rude to the guy who pulled up. Then I would have been rude to the gas station attendant. Maybe I would have gotten in a fight with someone, and then when I came to the party, when I finally arrived, I would have been in a bad mood for my whole family. It's like, it's a domino effect. It's that momentum we talked about yesterday. What momentum are you gaining? Are you gaining momentum in a good feeling, emotion, and unfolding of things? Or are you gaining momentum in a bad negative trajectory of things where bad things continue to happen? Because let's be honest, if someone comes in huffing and puffing in a bad mood, it's like, ugh, you don't want to be around them. You got your own problems, So this is all a game of perspective, perception. Perception is one of our higher faculties, by the way. So just looking over this, here's another story. A very brilliant woman came to me some years ago. This is Dr. Joseph Murphy. And she said she has psoriasis on her body, which would go away when she applied the ointment. But as soon as the ointment was gone, it would return. She was not resenting anyone. She was very religious and seemingly well-balanced emotionally. In talking to her, I discovered that she lived in constant fear of its return. So, like we pointed out the other day, her condition, the issue, the problem in her mind was the psoriasis, the skin condition. And that's all she was thinking about. She was fearing that it would return. Rightly so, rightly so. But he said, as a matter of fact, it was affirming to herself. It was a very powerful suggestion to her subconscious mind. Since it's controlled by suggestion and belief, it responds accordingly. She would affirm 2 or 3 times a day, I am whole, pure, and perfect. My skin is perfect. I am healed. But nothing happened. You can readily see what happened in her case. Every time she said, my skin is perfect, it started a quarrel in her mind. Something within her said, no, your skin is not perfect. This is what we talked about yesterday with, if you want to lose weight and you're like, I love my body, I love my legs, I love my stomach. And then something in your mind, or you look in the mirror, you're like, no, I don't. I'm fat. I feel gross. I feel like I let myself go. I feel unhealthy. So that's untrue. That's when people get really caught up in affirmations and mantras like, oh, that's just a bunch of garbage. Well, it is if you don't believe it, of course. But remember, you are affirming to yourself 24/7. You are chanting mantras all the time. Your inner talk is dictating your life because it dictates the way you feel. And the way you feel dictates the way you act. And the way you act dictates your results. We truly are at the base level, just computers. We are programmable computers. But who's programming us? Who has been programming you? What are you surrounding yourself with? What do your friends and family think? What TV shows do you watch? What music do you listen to? What is your self-talk? How do you think about yourself and how do you think about other people? So when she was saying my skin is perfect, she was like, no, hell no, it ain't. So the following technique worked for her in a wonderful way. She started to say for 5 or 10 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day, it is changing now for the better. It is changing now for the better. This created no quarrel in her conscious or subconscious mind. Results followed. It gradually disappeared and it never returned. I am sure she ceased suggesting its return. What I fear most has come upon me. That's what we talked about in that book of Job. What you fear the most comes upon you. Why are you fearing it? You're emotionally involved. Fear is an emotion. You have a thought and you're getting emotionally involved, the emotion of fear. You are fearful about it. You're holding it in your heart. You're wrapping up a thought with emotion. So the recipe, if you will, for results in our life, how we get results. The recipe is a thought mixed with emotion will produce the momentum in your body to take action, and the action produces results. Your thought mixed with emotion will produce actions that produce results. This is classic cognitive behavioral therapy. And I know it's basic, and yes, there's nuances, but this is basic stuff. We're not even doing basic stuff. You know, a lot of times we want to argue, but nothing. If we can't even get the basics, don't argue for your limitations. There was a great saying of, we want to be our best. We want to be our highest selves. I want to be my fully expressed self. When you can't even be your lowest expressed self. I want to live my highest potential. Honey, we can't even live our lowest potential. Let's start with basics. But this is the problem. We fight against basics because we think we are not basic. Yeah, we basic bitches. We all are. And we have to come to terms with that. We are ordinary people. We are ordinary, normal people that have to obey the laws of this universe. And when we don't, results follow. Get the basics. Once we master these, then we can do other things. But it's like riding a bike. If you can't fucking stay, upright, forget about doing any tricks. Learn how to ride a bike, then start doing the tricks and going on the ramps and going up curbs and doing wheelies and stuff. Basic, but we think we don't need to do basic. I'm special. I can just go into the ramps and the jumps. No. And this is why I love athletics. I love sports, because it humbles you. You cannot get to doing wonderful tricks or wonderful, you just can't get great at something unless you practice daily. And you can't take a pill, you can't bypass that, you can't quick fix it. There's no hacks. The physical body is the most beautiful example of how the laws work. And we are in physical bodies. So learn the laws. What you think mixed with what you feel will create how you act, the momentum, and how you act will create your results. If your results are funky, it's because you act in a fool. Why are you acting a fool? Because you are emotionally involved with bullshit. What are you thinking? Caca, stop it. I'm talking to myself. Anyways, this was fabulous. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.